off that phone?
Yep.
What?
Yes.
What about the guy with this big equipment back there? What's he doing?
He is recording it. All right.
How do you turn it on to live stream?
It already is.
It is already streaming. Oh. Who's that first guy with that? That guy right there at the end. Yellow
That
guy.
is Dan. He's in charge of Dan Sharp. He does like all the Columbus Foundation's community grants. Good one to know.
Yeah.
Every year he comes up to me and says how good this is. Okay.
All right.
I think
Look out. Look out. Look out.
I will be back.
All right.
I gotta
Look out. Look out. Look out. God damn. Yeah, he's got it. What is this?
that's the microphone. I gotta
correct multiple parishes and would help the diocese grow to what it is today. However, one of his greatest achievements would not come until 20 years later. In 1923, he purchased a plot of land in Bexley, Ohio. Upon this land was to be built a new Catholic high school named after St. Charles Borromeo. This school would come with a promise that an exceptional education would be provided to every young man willing to accept the challenge of studying at St. Charles, regardless of background or means.
Good evening and welcome to St. Charles. Thank you. On behalf of our St. Charles community, I am proud to welcome you all to our campus for this Bexley State of the Community. We have many faculty, staff, administrators from the Bexley and surrounding areas, including myself. I'm an Eastmore resident. We are fortunate that over 100 years ago, Bishop James T. Hartley picked Bexley to be built a high school. We value our relationship with the Bexley community, and especially Mayor Kessler, our Bexley Police Department with Chief Lewis, and our School Resource Officer, Jeremy Grimes, and of course, the residents of Bexley. Since 1923, we have graduated over 7,300 alumni that have served our community and our country in many professions, but we are most proud of the men that serve the religious across the world. In the last 14 years, 12 men were ordained in the priesthood, with 4 more currently in formation. Our alumni not only include priests, but champions in business, top-tier medical and science professionals, professional and Olympic athletes, world-renowned musicians and composers, graduates of the military academies, in addition to 2 Rhodes Scholars. When St. Charles was founded by Bishop Hartley, his promise was that every young man willing to accept the challenge of studying at St. Charles would be given that opportunity no matter background or means. And that still stands today. Our school was able to award $3.4 million in tuition assistance this school year. Our students come from 68 different zip codes across Central Ohio, all to the city of Bexley. This fall, we welcomed a 40% growth in our school community, and looks like that our incoming fresh next year will break that record. With our 15 varsity sports, which 4 out of the 10 played so far this year, have finished in Division I Final Four for the state of Ohio. Our senior class of 2024 will graduate 119 young men that will move into post-secondary schools such as Yale, University of Chicago, Notre Dame, Boston College, Johns Hopkins, and many others. Our senior class, like the seniors across the country, are delayed by the FAFSA process in picking and selecting their colleges. As of today, we have an appointment to the Merchant Marines Academy, a Navy ROT Scholarship Award winner, and an Evans Scholar, with more to come in the coming weeks. Our class of 2024 has an average ACT score of 28.1, which makes St. Charles one of the top schools in Ohio, with 4 of our seniors having a perfect ACT score of 36. In 2018, St. Charles started a 5-year plan to build leaders for the next 100 years. Part of this plan was to improve our current facilities on our main campus. This past September, we finished our beautiful Frank E. Murphy class of 1954 Convocation Center, which we are in today. This facility houses sporting events with over 1,200 people, as well as events for the community, just like the one tonight, that can accommodate up to 2,000 people. Another initiative of this plan was to convert our old gymnasium, which many of you may have been in. And it will be a state-of-the-art learning facility that we will call the Brotherhood Center. The Brotherhood Center was built on the cornerstone of faith, brotherhood, and academic excellence that will be dedicated to empowering young men discover and nurture their God-given talents. This space, which is in the heart of our campus, will feature a first-floor library and media center, an amphitheater, 3 collaborative learning spaces, a school spiritware store, and a welcome center. Within the additional 3 floors above, we will also have an additional 10 classrooms and labs to be used by our students as we continue the growth with the Columbus and Bexley communities for years to come. We are thrilled to see this space open in the spring of 2025. So come back next spring and see it all. I encourage you to check out the renderings in the back of the gym, and you can see the renderings of the Brotherhood Center. Over the past year, we have partnered with many of the Bexley entities on different projects showing our commitment to the city of Bexley. We enjoyed walking in the 4th of July parade, connecting with so many of our students and our alumni. We were fortunate to receive a grant from the Bexley Community Foundation and work with the Bexley Tree and Garden Commission to add trees along the bank of the creek. And these trees will increase the number of rare species found in the city of Bexley. As part of our 100th year activities, over 125 students and alumni served our surrounding communities during that community service day. We were happy to partner with the Bexley Parks and Rec Department to help clear the honeysuckle from the Jeffrey Mansion estate. The Bexley Historical Society and the city of Bexley honored us during our centennial celebrations this past year with a historical plaque that is in front of our school. So check it out on your way out. You will hear us say we are building better men, and we value the partnership with the city of Bexley that has enabled us to do just that. We look forward to seeing the completion of the Brotherhood Center in the coming year and partnering with Bexley community in the near future. Thanks for coming to St. Charles. Welcome. I have the pleasure of introducing Jason and the Bens. If you don't know them, we have Ben Heckman, Dr. Fine, and Mayor Kessler. Welcome.
We have to always be on either side. Where's this at?
Maybe there. We know how to use equipment. We're good. This is fancy. That's a reset. Hold on. All right, is this being timed? Okay, we have to open it. So I feel like. You can borrow your lob. I don't know. Okay.
I can hold the one that Jamie had. No, because you'll need yours.
How about if we speak really loudly? Can you guys hear us?
So
All right.
I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah.
So a huge thank you to St. Charles for opening up such a beautiful space for us as we have a conversation to celebrate all the great things that are happening in Bexley. I'm Jason of Jason and the Bens. I am the superintendent of Bexley City Schools. And we want to talk about One Bexley. Last February, thank you. Last February, we had an incident in our schools, a horrific racist incident that occurred that prompted a conversation immediately with myself, Mayor Ben Kessler and Ben Heckman, who's the director of our library. And that conversation was to begin a conversation around what we need to do as a community in collaboration with the schools and the library to address the culture in Bexley. As a result, we launched a cooperative community program called the One Bexley Project. I'm really proud of the progress that we've had, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in this space. The premise sounded simple at first, and obviously it turned into a very complex programming initiative that we wanted to make sure that we were bringing to all of the homes in Bexley. We know that this is a hard conversation, and we know that it's going to be uncomfortable at times, but it's a conversation that must happen as we address our culture throughout Bexley.
The goal of the One Bexley Project is to help realize a Bexley that is welcoming for all and provides a sense of belonging for all community members and visitors. One Bexley is a promise that has not historically been kept for all who live, work, visit, and play in our community.
And it's a project that requires every Bexley resident to be active and to participate in this common goal. And so here to talk more about One Bexley is the One Bexley Project Coordinator, La Baker.
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? Awesome, thank you. And now that Mo, Larry, and Curly off the stage, I can now do what I do best and talk about this wonderful project. So, as the gentleman said, my name is La Baker. I use pronouns she and her, and it is very much my honor to be a part of this momentous work. You know, one of the things I think about a lot in my regular life, I do diversity, equity, inclusion training, consulting, and I talk about belonging a lot. And when I talk about belonging, it's very much different than fitting in. When you fit in somewhere, that means you're trying to mask who you really are to try to be kind of undercover and not really stand out. But when you belong, you celebrate all of the uniqueness that you bring to the table. It's all of your perspectives, your skills, your background, your culture, all those things. And so what I've been tasked with is how do we create this next rendition of Bexley that is a place of belonging for everyone, regardless of their backgrounds, their persuasions, or their identity. So I'm very excited to be working on this, and I can tell you right now, while I'm the project coordinator, I am merely one person who is going to be a part of this. All of you as Bexley residents and legislators and business folks and visitors have a huge part in this. We're going to be sharing stories with each other. We're going to be celebrating life with each other, and we're also going to have some hard conversations. Because there are going to be times when somebody doesn't feel like they belong here. So what we need to do as a community is rise up together and remove those barriers so that when we invite them to come in, there's no reason for them to not address and accept that invitation. So we're going to get ready to launch a brand new website for One Bexley, and we also going to have social media pages. Even today, we have my husband, who is a great cameraman, not that one, but you're great too, but he's gonna be out in the lobby area to, if you have a story that you wanna share or just say, what does belonging at Bexley mean to you? We will absolutely take that story from you. My good partner in crime, Steve Shapiro, will be a part of that work as well. So you know Steve, he is a part of the Bexley community and such a great advisor and friend to me. So I really want you to understand that this is not going to be powerful without your help. We need everybody being a part of this. So there'll be opportunities to have people in your homes, for you to meet us at the coffee shops, for you to come to the library, for you to be at Jeffrey Mansion, even at the senior center. There will be places all over this whole city and community that will invite you in to be a part of this work. So I ask you to come with an open heart, an open mind, and open hands, because this takes action to be able to do all of these things. So I thank you all for being here so much. If you have any questions at all, I am actually going to be on. It's onebexley@bexley.org is going to be the email. And so we'll make sure we do follow up. So you can also send messages to me and let me know if there's things that you want to actively be a part of or that you want to present to the community. So I thank you all so much for being here. And I want to invite Dr. Fine to come back up. Thank you so much.
So we really appreciate everyone being here, and I really want to thank La Baker. La Baker is a superstar, and we need La. And I'm really thankful for the work that La has taken on in the short amount of time since we have embarked on this relationship, which was, I think, in January. Steve Shapiro, who is a longtime resident in Bexley, also a longtime educator in Bexley, is going to be an important part of that process with Lashandra, and we're really thankful for that partnership. And I'm going to talk a little bit more at the end of my presentation about what you can do to get involved, but really want to thank Lashandra. She changed some plans last minute to make sure that she could be here. So thank you for giving the schools a little bit of time to share some of the great things that are happening. I am Jason Fine, superintendent, and I have the absolute pleasure to be the superintendent. It's an absolute honor to serve the community of Bexley. One of the greatest things about Bexley is the people. We're going to talk a little bit about the people and what makes this place so special, and lots of work that's happening in and throughout Bexley. But you can't start Superintendency 101. You got to thank the Board of Education. And the beauty of our Board of Education, especially in 2024, education is hard, education is challenging, and serving can be challenging, and leadership can be challenging. But I am so thankful to have a Board of Education and members of our Board of Education who fight for kids, advocate for students, advocate for what's right, and aren't afraid to take a leadership role in education in 2024. So we've got 2 new members on our Board of Education since the last time we were here. I see Mike Carter is going to give a wave, who's on our Board of Education. Yeah, yeah, that's right. I saw Vice President Joanne Pickerel is in the space. I don't see where she's sitting. There she is. Yep, thank you, Joanne. Patrick King is sitting beside Joanne. Patrick is new to our Board of Education. Dr. Jonathan Baker is in the space. Yeah, thank you. And our president, Victoria Powers, is going to be in the space because I think she's going to speak for us a little bit later. But truly cannot thank our Board of Education enough. It is really rare to have a full unit of a special education that is as committed as ours. So huge thank you to our board. We're going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to talk, I know I'm on the clock. Ben Kessler's going to time me. I'm going to make sure that we get the appropriate time because you have a lot of great information you want to hear. But I want to talk about the great things in Bexley. And one of the things that we hang our hat on is the academic excellence, the tradition of excellence that takes place in Bexley in the classroom. And it's one aspect of who we are. We're really thankful for the successes that occur. And we believe that the number one thing that is important for our students as a staff is that we want them to be, our students to be wildly successful in whatever that is when they exit our hallways. And so that's the goal at every step of the way with our staff, with our board, with our community to make sure our students are receiving that world-class experience so that when they go out of our halls, outside of our doors, they're ready to take on the world. And we're really thankful for that. We have a great track record. You've probably heard people ask me all the time, we saw that you were #1 in high schools, best high schools in the state of Ohio and World News and Report. That is important to us, but it is not everything that we are. We think that it is more than just academics to make up a Bexley experience. And it's the opportunities that we are thankful that we provide to our students. And we've got a wide range of opportunities that we provide. And here's just a handful that you see. You saw on the slide before that we have just over 2,500 students. Most of our students are involved in multiple activities outside of the classroom. The statistics are staggering. We're really thankful that students have an opportunity to identify things that they want to do outside of the classroom. One of the things that you see up here is we have 74 athletic teams. We are a Division II, feels like a robust Division I experience when you look at the arts that we offer and you look at the sports that we offer. I think it's important to note that since the last time I stood in the space at the community of the city, we've had 7 state champions. That's a big deal for Bexley. That's a big deal for anyone. Yeah, absolutely. We had Amaya Bowles, who is a sophomore. She won back-to-back state titles in tennis as a freshman and sophomore. We had Mason Lewis, who won the 100 and 200 in track last year, who also just won the Big Ten championship as a freshman. We had Sid Smith, who won the discus last year as a senior, who just won her first Big Ten meet at Iowa. Jackson Monis is a freshman who just won the diving state championship. Coach Mitch Freeze is in the house, is a big part of that. Let's give it up for Mitch. Yep. And we just had about 3-4 weeks ago, Marius Garcia won the 106-pound weight class in wrestling with an absolute display of integrity and grit as he brought home our first wrestling state championship in 39 years. So we're really proud of our, folks. Even more exciting is our arts and extracurriculars, lots of opportunities. We just finished Xanadu this past weekend, our high school production. They hit a home run. It's incredible what these students are able to produce in the time that they produce it, making sure that their academics are taken care of, making sure that they're in other activities and clubs. So we're really thankful for the work that happens in and out of our classroom. Those opportunities can't happen without the Bexley Education Foundation. So the Bexley Education Foundation, I think, is something that sets apart our district from many others across the state and throughout the nation, because our Bexley Education Foundation, they find creative ways to provide opportunities that maybe we don't have the ability to do. And you can see on the board, they are celebrating their 40th anniversary. The executive director, Pam Glasgow, is in the space, I believe so. Pam, there's Pam. So we're really thankful for Pam and the work of the BEF. Yep, thank you. Celebrating 40 years, one of the things that we did to acknowledge 40 years is the BEF raised funds to make sure that every one of our elementary students were able to attend the zoo. You can see that they have raised over $8 million in grants and services and funds for our community over those 40 years. That is quite impressive. They also were integral in making sure that we had a one-to-one initiative when COVID hit. We needed to make sure that students could learn whether they were in the space or out of the space, access for all, and that doesn't happen without our Bexley Education Foundation. They are collaborating constantly with our community foundation and other really important stakeholders and organizations throughout the community. We're just so thankful for the work of Pam and the Bexley Education Foundation for the opportunities that they provide to our students. And they just had Bravo, which was a huge event. We were supposed to promote Bravo, but this got bumped. So next year we want to see it Bravo. I want to talk briefly about some of the things. We've had a lot of changes since the last time we spoke. I stood in front of you. A year ago, I talked to you about a strategic planning process. And I'm really proud of the process that we ran with our strategic plan. This was a robust process. We had over 3,000 data points ranging from students, staff members, community members. We reached out to alumni. We heard from our Board of Education. We heard from our community that said, we want a strategic plan that is that has two things that we focus on. One, we want to make sure it is not a cookie cutter experience. We don't want to get on a website and look at someone else's in Central Ohio strategic plan and have Bexley's look remotely like that. We want it to be unique to Bexley. We're really proud that we have created just that. We also heard from the community that we wanted it to be a community-driven strategic plan, not driven by the superintendent, not driven by the board, not driven by specific louder voices, but a community-driven process. And we're really thankful for those who came forward, and we're really proud of the work that we've done. I want to talk a little bit about it. One of the first things that we did through that process was look at our mission statement. The mission is what makes up our DNA in Bexley, and I'm really proud of the fact that this came out loud and clear right out of the gates. In the DNA, it's who we are, it's who we must be, it's our non-negotiables. And if you look up at our mission, it's learn with curiosity, demonstrate kindness, and embrace equity. Those are the things that we must do at all stages. It is the foundation of who we are. From there, with our community engagement, involvement, we came up with our values. This further describes our DNA. And these are the values that we default to when we're making really challenging decisions. We have to ask ourselves questions about our values. And I talk to our staff and I talk to our students about the values that we hang our hat on. And I always tell folks that it's 2 E's, 2 I's, 2 R's, and a W. Equity, empathy, integrity, inclusion, responsibility, respect, and well-being. Those are the things that we must lay our foundation on as we make our decisions. If you take your mission and you take your values and you follow those in everything that you do, then it gives you the ability to live your vision. And so that's not just in our classrooms. That is in all facets of our community. That's in our locker rooms. That's in our hallways. That's on the stage. That's in the art wing. That's in classrooms. That's in the community. If you live your mission and you live your values, then we create spaces where our students can be creative, where culturally responsive and relevant teaching is happening in our classrooms, where there's a joy and an ethic of care that's happening. We want to make sure that our students are flourishing, and that happens if you live your mission and values every day. So we're really proud of the vision that came from a lot of conversations as a community. From there, we went into beyond the mission, vision, and values, and we went into what is it that we want to make sure our goals and objectives are as a district. And these came out loud and clear right as we started moving into conversations about what is it that we want for a Bexley learner. And 4 themes emerged right away, right out of the gates as we were talking mission, vision, values. 4 themes emerged: diversity, equity, and inclusion, culture, teaching and learning, and facilities. And we had subcommittees that were working on each one of these as we broke into our subcommittees. And we learned early that our diversity, equity, and inclusion group felt that there was so much overlap in between our DEI group with the other 3 of culture, teaching and learning, and facilities, that we felt that we didn't want to disband the group, but we wanted to make sure that the DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion, became the map. Culture, teaching and learning, and facilities were spaces and locations on the map, while diversity and equity and inclusion is the map. And that's really important. If you go onto our website, you can look up our strategic plan and you'll see that it's color-coded. And all of our subcommittees came together to collaborate to identify where throughout each one of our objectives and goals, our diversity, equity, and inclusion fits into the plan. So we're really proud of the work of those subcommittees and our community that was able to drive the focus of our strategic plan with regard to diversity, equity, and inclusion. The third piece, if you look on there, teaching and learning, culture, and facilities. I'm going to focus just a second on facilities. As you stand in a beautiful space, we too, as Bexley residents, are having really important conversations around what's possible as we take a look at our facilities. And just like with the strategic plan, we heard from our community that we wanted to have a robust, community-involved conversation around our facilities. So we have committed to doing just that. And we're really proud of the work that we really started in, the strategic plan was approved in May of 23 last year. And we immediately started the process. And we are about nearly a year into the process of digging into our facilities. We're thankful for those that have joined us, and we'll talk about how you can become involved, but you'll see that we're going through a 3-phase process. We just finished the assessment phase. The assessment phase is where we've taken a look at our current state of affairs in our buildings, and we're taking that information that's leading us now into phase 2, which is our options phase, and we're hoping that the community will join us at some meetings, which I'll share those dates and times here soon, so that you can help us process what those options might be. We know what our current affairs are. We want to see what's possible with regard to repairs, renovation, potentially rebuild. We'll talk about here in a minute. No decisions have been made. We don't know where we're going to go. We do know that the community is going to help drive us. And then the third piece is obviously our decisions phase. And we're hoping to have this wrapped up by November of next year as we go through a process and create some reports. So we want to make sure that you know that we need you. And the question is, why now? Well, one, the strategic plan identified it. The strategic plan identified the need to look at facilities. And that happened long before I arrived. You've been talking facilities in Bexley for a while. Why? Because our buildings on average, if you've been to any of our meetings, you know that our buildings on average are 84 years old. 84 years old is telling us that the life cycle of some things are starting to come up. And we've got a phenomenal operations team. They do such a great job that when you walk through our facilities, we may not see all the problems that we have. You can't see what's above the ceiling. You can't see what's below the floor. You can't see what's behind the walls. But we have issues that we've done a phenomenal job. Our team has done a phenomenal job of making sure that our kids have a safe space that they're proud of to attend school every day, and our staff. But when you have 84 years on average, we start to have increasing costs. So one of the things that you've heard if you've attended any of our facilities meetings is that no decisions have been made. I have no idea where we're going to be at when we get to phase 3. This options phase is really important. We're going to need you to be part of those conversations. But we also know that there's no zero cost option. And what that means is we have taken a look at our current affairs, and there are a lot of needs. Kyle Smith, our treasurer, who's going to speak here shortly, has done a phenomenal job working with our operations teams to identify where we are currently, what our plan is, or what our needs are in 0 to 5, 6 to 10, and 11 to 15 years. Those are the buckets that we're looking at to identify what we need to do as we move forward. And then obviously modern spaces for learning. Let me be clear. I'm in education. I got into education because I want to work with students and I want to work with people. It's about people. And we will always keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is the education of young people and the magic that happens in the classrooms. However, you have to make sure that the facilities can encourage and support and make our students feel safe, loved, cared for, and be proud of. So although we're talking buildings, don't ever let anyone tell you that the main thing isn't the education of students, but it does matter that we take a look at what the facilities do in terms of the impact of educating our young people. So that's an important piece that I always want to make sure that we get in there. A couple of things before I bring Kyle Smith up that we want to make sure, the third thing that our Board of Education committed to, and that's being transparent. So anyone at any time can go to our website. Carol Taylor is our public information officer. She is an absolute superstar. She's done a phenomenal job of capturing all of this information. You can watch any community engagement session that we've had. You can see any notes that we've had in terms of our building team meetings. You can get a calendar. You can subscribe to the calendar. We want you informed, because we feel as a community, we're going to be in a much better space with the involvement of our community driving this process. So please, if you head to bexleyschools.org, you'll be able to see upcoming dates that we hope you'll consider joining. I see several of our folks that are on our building teams that have been attending our community engagement sessions. There's also an open feedback form. So you're just too busy, you can't get there, but you've been in our buildings and you have some thoughts. There is a form on the front page of our website. It's on the banner, and it allows you to provide any feedback that is regarding really anything, but most are dialed in on the facilities right now. So that's always there, accessible for you. That comes directly to us and our architectural team to make sure that we address those things. And then obviously the last piece, there's videos of all of our community engagement sessions. We have committed to doing 12. Hopefully you've been receiving the mailings that we've put in to update you and to invite you. Please refer to those, but all of those things can be found on our website. I'm going to introduce the real magician of the district, Kyle Smith. I've asked Kyle to come and give a few thoughts and share a little bit of information as it pertains to the finances of our district. And Kyle Smith is an absolute superstar. We are really lucky and fortunate to have somebody like Kyle Smith that is making sure that we are good stewards of the community's money and taxpayer money. He is unique. Most treasurers, one, wouldn't come here and have this type of conversation. But two, Kyle does a phenomenal job of understanding what students need and what a community needs. So I'm really thankful that Kyle's joined us tonight. He's going to share a little bit of insight into the finances, and then I'll sneak back up and yield my time. So let's give it up for Kyle Smith.
Thank you, Dr. Fine. I need a mic. Thank you, Dr. Fine. Most treasurers wouldn't come here for your benefit because we're the low energy folks. Thankful for Dr. Fine and his leadership, but I'm going to be the little bit more calm section of tonight. Besides, it's money. But really just want to give you a quick update. Dr. Fine's out in the community with your students and parents, and I'm usually in the office plugging away and putting the bills out to get things moving behind the scenes. But you can see this is kind of where the time frame is, and we're kind of at a decision point as a district coming up, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But we are in a fiscal year of a July 1 to June 30th. We're in this moment of we've pretty much collected all of our tax revenues for the year. So we're going to live off of that for the next couple of months until property tax bills start rolling again in July. But we are in budget season right now. We have continued conversations for about 2 months leading up into our July 1st year. But like I said, we're at this decision point. Typical schools like Bexley or Bexley-like districts have a revenue issue or circumstance where revenues relatively remain flat because of House Bill 920, which essentially says when the district passes a levy, they cannot get additional revenues on that. I know there's some exceptions, and I can happily talk about those unique exceptions because one-to-one, or it may look a little different for you, but in general, school districts do not receive additional revenue from the state, in Bexley's case, and otherwise. But expenditures continuously increase. That's true for us personally, but also true as a school district. So we're seeing the orange line here is our cash balance. So we see a declining cash balance, and we will have negative cash in 2027, 26, 27. The district has a cash balance policy that within the first 4 years of the 5-year forecast, if that cash balance drops below 70 days, we're to have an evaluation, financial evaluation, and we did that. So that recommendation, as Dr. Fine kind of alluded to, we've just completed a strategic plan process, and no point in that process did I hear Bexley schools do less, spend less, do more, add more. But with a typical school funding cycle, if a school district would pass a levy, they have a boost in revenues. As increased pressures on inflation and wages increase, that dwindles the cash balance. So that's what you're seeing here. And then we're at this decision point. We've been able to delay the decision point for a couple of years for various reasons. COVID money, income tax has done better than projected. So what's next? Where are we in this decision point? At the April board meeting, we talked about options, revenue options for the district, just definitional, no simulations or scenarios. The Finance Advisory Council or Committee is going to be meeting next week to put numbers to paper, to weigh different financial options. In May, there'll be a board meeting that will discuss those options potentially, or what we'll call a resolution for the board to consider. We'll need to pass a second resolution in June, and then ultimate filing deadlines in July. Again, finance guy really brings it home, doesn't he? But thank you. Carol Taylor's done a great job of our website. We're continuously updating that with more financial information to try to keep you abreast of what's going on, to where most of your taxes go. I don't think we're lost on that. We understand that we not only hold the most precious assets of the district, our students, your children, but also your tax money. And we try to do the best that we can with that. Thank you.
Also, one thing I should have mentioned when I introduced Kyle Smith is he just recently, his team received the Auditor State Award for being fiscally responsible. That is only awarded to less than 6% of all entities. So that is a huge, I think, compliment to the work that's done as a district. So I'm going to wrap up because I know the time is limited. This is how you can be involved. This is how you can stay informed. One of the things that we stress about all the time is how do we reach our community members, those who may not have students in our buildings. If you subscribe to our newsletter, you can find this off the website. You've seen some mailings. We're trying to keep the community engaged, but we really value our entire community. It's not just those who are sending students to us. We want to make sure that you're informed. You can always reach out and stay connected. And I want to end with one more piece of One Bexley. You heard me talk about the strategic plan, and you heard me talk about the facilities plan and how robust we've been in terms of community engagement. That's exactly the plan that we need for One Bexley. One Bexley will not work. It will not be successful if we do not bring the community together. That is students, that is staff, that is community members, that is alumni. This is a challenging conversation. There were incidents that occurred long before February. There have been incidences since February, and incidences will continue to happen. That is why it is important that we have conversations that will make us very uncomfortable. But I'm really thankful for the work of La and Steve and our two Bens and the community. And I urge you to stay connected. We have lots of information that we're going to share. We've got a system that we're going to start kicking off to make sure that you know how to be informed. But it's a really important initiative. It's a critical initiative, and I'm really thankful for the collaboration across the city. So a huge thank you for giving the schools a little bit of time. I know we went a little long, but it's exciting. Great stuff happening. I want to hand it over to the legend. In fact, he has his own day named after him. Brian Drury is going to come up. We are thankful for the partnership with Brian Drury as well. He's going to share an update on the Bexley Commerce. Thank you. Give it up for Brian Drury. Wow, that's a great hype man. Thank you, Jason. My name is Brian Drury, and it's my pleasure as Executive Director of the Bexley Chamber of Commerce to talk about the Chamber, which some people go, what's the Chamber about? Well, hopefully we'll have a little conversation about the Chamber and what we're doing. I've been blessed to have a great board. I see one of my board members up here. He's front and center. He wants a prize, Mike Davis. And also my chamber coordinator, Maria Martin. They've been able to make the chamber relevant in the community so that people understand, hey, what is the chamber doing and how is it going forward? Next slide. To provide a little history of the chamber, it was founded in 1986 by a group of business leaders. And their goal was to make Bexley a benchmark community. Oh, okay. They told me I had to say move forward, so now. Late breaking news. I wish somebody would have told me that, but that's okay. And this group wanted to support the community to make Bexley a special place to live and work. Their vision turned into the current Bexley Area Chamber of Commerce. All right, we'll check to see if this works. Wonderful. Our chamber has 3 pillars to success. The first is finance, and we actively recruit people in the Bexley area to have a solid collection of business clients to meet their consumer demand. So one of the things I do, which I really didn't want to do, but I have to do with this job, I go out to the Bexley Buzz and see, hey, what's going on? I need a plumber. I've got a plumber for you. I need a roofer. I got one of those. I need real estate. I have a lot of real estate agents for you. But more importantly, I've vetted those people. I know them. They're my friends, they're neighbors, and I know they will do a great job. And that's the difference between somebody going, hey, this is my cousin, I think he's good. This is my neighbor, I think they're all right. But that's what the chamber provides. Operationally, we've installed new systems to make our automation, so making it quicker, faster, easier to work with the chamber. And finance. Our budget's based on memberships, sponsors, and events. Shameless plug, October 14th, here at St. Charles, Taste of Bexley. Please come out. We were able to increase our membership this year as we set a chamber record with 74 new members that came to the chamber. This increase provided us to have free events for the community. So our women's networking event, which we brought back. Guest speaker series, April 24th there at the Bexley Public Library. Ben made me say that. We're gonna have Aging Gracefully. So if you know parents, people, you are aging gracefully, please come up. I'm not looking at you, Don, I'm not. Candidates Night, where we got a chance to meet our various candidates who are now part of the city. Leap Day of Kindness, and also supporting Capital University with their NCAA tournament. But we wanted to provide the chamber relevancy. And how do we do that? We are announcing 2 new programs. The first is we have a grant program for small businesses. And what's going to happen is that you can apply and the chamber is going to give back to the community. We feel strongly about that, and our board, with the partnership of the Bexley Community Foundation, feels this is important, that the chamber not just take, but give. Secondly, Capital University has partnered with us. So if you want to work on your MBA, master's program, undergraduate, if you're a chamber member, employee, or family member, they're going to give a lot of money to residents and people from there, part of the chamber. This is unique. Not many, I think 1 or 2 chambers have that process. So we're very excited. We're very happy to do that. And that's looking forward. One of the key things I am very excited about is that we support our local business owners.
So if you buy a pizza at Bexley Pizza Plus, that owner takes his car to Bexley Auto, that owner gets ice cream at Johnson's, they pay for tickets to Drexel, and then that owner gets a local gift at Urban Emporium, who buys flowers at Petals That Inspire. Just some of the businesses that we do, because we want to keep the money locally. Because why is that important, you might say, Brian? It's because those owners are our friends and neighbors. And guess what they do? They take care of their kids and they send them to camps. They support our nonprofit organizations. So when you're thinking about, should I get that person out of Cincinnati to come up to do my house? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe they're good. But you have so many businesses that are here in Bexley, and they're our friends and neighbors. How do we support them? So our goal is to support the people and community and the chamber people who are about this. So your friends and neighbors, how do we support them? And that's where the chamber comes in. So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce the mayor of Bexley, Ohio, the Honorable Ben Kessler.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Wow, so, does that sound okay? Well, no, we're good, cool. Well, good evening, Bexley. The fact that you're in this room with us, instead of being out in the sunshine, is like a real testament to your grit and determination. So thank you for being here. I want to thank Megan Meyer, who is our Administration Development Director, for helping put all this together in the video that you're about to see. I want to also thank St. Charles again. Is this not the most beautiful facility? This is a gorgeous space. And it was so kind of them to open their doors to us. As Jason Fine did, I will also do, which is if you are a Bexley City Council member, if you could just stand up and be recognized, please. Go ahead. Stay standing, stay standing, stay standing. If you are a city staff member, please stand up and be recognized. And if you serve on a board or commission or have been an elected official in the past, stand up and be recognized. I think I see Rick Weber not sitting up there in the back, but I'm not going to call him out. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. One more thank you, which is we have St. Charles students here tonight that are running our AV. They have been doing a fantastic job. Great job, guys. Good work. All right. I'm going to give a little presentation here, but before I do, I want to show you a quick video to tell you what we've been up to over the past year and what we have ahead. Bexley is a community that thinks globally, acts locally. This means as the world changes, as we face the challenges of our times, we face them together as a community.
We take bold, meaningful steps in addressing those challenges at the local level, often leading the way in the region and the state.
So let's look back at how 2023 was a landmark year for the Bexley community.
In 2023, we took our community policing initiative to the very next level and hosted our first ever National Night Out event.
We adopted a new youth interaction policy, guiding the way for positive relationship building and appropriate intervention when necessary.
Heart-Safe Bexley has created a culture of action amongst community members to save lives when there's an issue of cardiac illness in the community.
Since launching on October 1st, we've provided free CPR and AED training to over 300 community members. Last year, we continued our efforts around Project Taillight, helping to remove barriers for our community members to replace the simple but very effective motor safety component.
We started regular business checks to proactively foster relationships and to better understand the safety concerns of our small businesses.
We hosted tabletop and full-scale emergency preparedness exercises with multiple outside agencies to help mitigate the effects of an active threat or a natural disaster.
We've added K9P to our ranks. You'll see us sniffing around schools, synagogues, and businesses for extra safety. And our department will work collaboratively with other public safety agencies throughout the region. This was to help ensure the safety of worshiping and gathering in our churches and synagogues.
In 2023, we took a hard stance against the anti-Semitic behavior that we've been seeing in our country. We're standing with our Jewish community members.
And we're making plans for meaningful programs centered on diversity and inclusion as a part of the One Bexley initiative.
In 2023, we embarked on the Year of the Parks, a complete reimagination of our public parks and community spaces. These projects were supported in part by the Bexley Community Foundation and Ohio Department of Natural Resources.
We've carved out a special spot for our favorite best friend, a natural dog park that's nestled next to Allen Creek down the picturesque Snyder Park Trail.
We opened a splash pad at Schneider Park, adding to the beautiful facilities here. The Columbus Blue Jackets playground, our shelter house, and Schneider Park athletic field. We look forward to the community coming out and enjoying the space and cooling off this summer.
We brought a pond and arboretum option to park, highlighting our natural environment on this gem of community space.
And the new bike and skate park coming soon to Schneider Park along Allen Creek.
And we're working with the Bexley Public Library to transform this space into an outdoor reading room for the whole community.
So we can truly celebrate our 100th birthday.
But wait, there's more. This year we will be finalizing plans for Commonwealth Park. We will be designing a new pedestrian and bike bridge over Allen Creek at Schneider Park and installing Alley of the Future.
In 2023, we made huge strides in sustainability by implementing universal recycling.
And by saving our residents hundreds of thousands of dollars on their energy bills with our new green energy aggregation program.
We celebrated the 10th anniversary of the accreditation of Bexley as the first municipal arboretum in the United States. Isn't that tremendous?
We received our Soul Smart Gold designation, reflecting our commitment to helping Bexley go solar. Others are taking notice of our efforts. We were recognized by the Ohio EPA with their Gold Encouraging Environmental Excellence Award.
In 2023, we began the process of revisiting our land use strategy and sections of our zoning code to promote thoughtful redevelopment that will set Bexley up for our next 100 years of success.
We're working together to foster a diverse business community and to bring energy to key commercial corridors.
While also ensuring that as we renovate and expand our single-family homes, these developments are in line with our newly updated residential design guidelines.
We're working with our various board and commissions to ensure that as projects come forward to the city, we consider multiple points of view to help make the best project possible.
And we're keeping affordability in mind as we recognize there will be harsh economic barriers to becoming and staying a Bexley resident. And then we have a role to play in addressing the regional housing crisis. In 2023, we made changes to improve the safety of our neighborhood corridors, installing traffic calming measures such as these mostly loved medians behind me here on Drexel.
And as our underground infrastructure ages and weather patterns change, we're planning for meaningful upgrades and maintenance to our water and sewer systems.
As we plan for the future of our community, we remain committed to maintaining the city's financial health and transparency. The city has one of the highest debt ratings available and a healthy cash reserve and investment portfolio, all memorializing our city's strong financial condition.
While we're doing all of that, we're still making time to have fun celebrating our community. From the most inviting neighborhoods that you can imagine, to fabulous park programming,
To signature gatherings supported by the Bexley Community Foundation, like the 4th of July, Main Event, Jazz in the Park, and Labor Day Block Party.
To Jeff and Magic Preschool and the benefits of Halloween Bash, Bexley truly is a special place to live, work, and raise a family.
And in keeping with our strategic plan, we'll be launching several new planning processes this year to guide future development. These include new commercial design guidelines and a public art placement plan.
And just like every year, it feels like we're just getting started. Here's what's next in 2024.
One Bexley programs and events.
More colorful Adirondack chairs.
Pike Boulevards, Bexley Mural Fest on Main Street.
More trees, fewer mulch volcanoes.
The Climate Action and Sustainability Plan.
Better software for better service.
The skate park opening, completing the final sidewalk connections on Charles Street.
More opportunities for public engagement.
1 million block parties.
CALIA accreditation. That is the national standard for law enforcement agencies. Electric car infrastructure. Taste of Bexley. The Jeffrey Park strategy. Wrapping up our naming strategy 2.0. A thriving senior center.
And a centennial celebration fitting for our library.
We can't wait to work with you on these initiatives and more in the year ahead.
Thank you to all of our celebrity guests that helped us with that video, and again to Megan for putting that together, and Craig for filming it. So I want to take a moment and ask you to picture the Bexley of the future. No, not that one. It has a lot of problems, actually. It looks a little closer at it. But the Bexley that you imagine and you aspire towards for the generations to come. Survey upon survey of Bexley residents tells us that our community envisions a Bexley that is harmonious with its classic strengths, like walkable streetscapes, safe homes, safe streets, traffic calming infrastructure, access to lifelong learning opportunities for kids of all ages, from 1 to 100, leafy, shaded sidewalks, and intentional, immersive green space. Events and activities that build community, bring us together, and enrich and educate. And a Bexley that is evolving to more perfectly capture our aspirations for the future. A Bexley that's open to all, has opportunity for all, from education to housing to employment to enjoyment, connecting all parts of our community and investing throughout our community. A Bexley that has vibrant and growing commercial corridors that serve as neighborhood centers and places of energy, connection, and community. A Bexley that is anchored in sustainability so that generations beyond us can continue to enjoy the Bexley overstory, the site of an owl in Jeffrey Woods, the shade of a birch at Schneider Park. A Bexley that has sewers that do a better job of keeping our basements dry. And yes, this is exactly what our sewers look like on our main street. A Bexley that is more interconnected with surrounding communities, with safe, walkable, and bikeable routes, and higher quality public transportation. My mic is being a little iffy, so that's cool. Yeah. Not everyone necessarily wants to see our community evolve in these ways. But the data is clear that the majority of our community does. It's a consensus-built vision, and rallying around it will bring a stronger community for Bexley's next 116 years. And by the way, I want to call out the scoreboard up here for St. Charles. 1908 is the clock time. That's when we were founded. 1923 is when St. Charles was founded. I like that. That was fun. Come on. Tonight, I want to talk about some of the things that we have done and are doing this year to drive this vision forward. As was said in the video, we'll be launching a public art and placemaking planning process. We're doubling down on creating new opportunities for businesses and residents and future residents on Main Street, in North Cassidy, and the Livingston Avenue corridors. We're working to build a bike and pedestrian bridge across Allen Creek at Schneider Park, funded in large part by grants from the State of Ohio Capital Fund, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and of course, our very beloved Bexley Community Foundation. We're working to create a skate park along the same trail at Schneider Park that connects the South Community Gardens, the splash pad in the playground, the athletic fields, the Robert Frost Birch Walk, which has just opened, the Bexley Natural Dog Park, and the Schneider River Trail, connecting them all to Main Street. And yes, every single one of those projects was funded with the generous support of the Bexley Community Foundation. Speaking of funding, last year we were awarded over $15 million by the federal government for a joint project with Columbus to realize the full vision of the joint Livingston Avenue plan. It includes landscape medians that act as buffers at unused center turn lanes, mixed bike and pedestrian trails on both sides of the street, wide tree lawns to accommodate a majestic, full canopied treescape, better connection to the Alum Creek Greenways trails, more and safer pedestrian crossings, and more. This year, planning and engineering has begun in earnest. Due to the complexity and scale of the project, we're operating off of an approximately 7-year timeline, so don't hold your breath. It's going to take some time, but it will be moving forward. I also want to recognize the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, Eileen Luby's here from Morpsey, for their support of this project. We brought mixed-use commercial zoning to Livingston just last month, and an ordinance that works to drive investment to Livingston so that this corridor can thrive and become a safer, community-based connection between Bexley and Berwick, and can begin to realize its full potential. The zoning that complements the major infrastructure work to come, and that has aspirational, uniform standards that pair up with the Main Street and North Cassidy corridors. And we're working with property owners of the apartments on the Holtzman landfill between Livingston and Schneider Park to protect residents from the environmental contamination there, and to bring safety and security to the residents and future residents in the increasingly uplifted southwest corner of our city. We're in the midst of crafting a dynamic new land use strategy with exciting new ideas to guide development policy in the city for years to come. Larry Hellman's looking really sharp in this photo. He told me not to take any pictures. Sorry, Larry. We're getting ready to launch an update process for our commercial design guidelines. Today we have Main Street design guidelines. They're 20 years old. We're going to be bringing design guidelines that are refreshed to Main Street and also extending them to Livingston and Cassidy. We're connecting Commonwealth Park east and west so that by the end of this year, there will only be one Commonwealth Park. Large, continuous, safer, much more usable park space for us and our future. We're installing a restroom and a gateway at that United Commonwealth Park, and we're also adding a public restroom at Schneider Park near the community gardens. We're finishing up the wayfinding package for Bexley's bike boulevards, an interconnected series of north-south and east-west routes throughout the city, designated for their calm and safe routes, and designed to connect to existing and future bike infrastructure in the city of Columbus. And as you've already heard, we're core partners in the One Bexley program. In addition to this work, we're continuing to advance our own equity goals, with a focus this year on procurement, infrastructure equity, access to housing, and interconnectedness with surrounding communities. And we're taking a moment, after several years of historic investment in sewer and water infrastructure upgrades and property side sewer remediation, to revisit our sewer infrastructure plans and to create a blueprint for the next decade of investment. In plain English, we're spending a lot of time and resources to work towards our goal of a more flood resilient Bexley. And we're crafting new stormwater regulations to ensure that as property develops in Bexley, we're actually lessening the impact on Alum Creek. We're reducing the load on our sewer system, and we're more effectively irrigating our landscapes. We're adding sidewalks where before there were no sidewalks. We're wrapping up the Jeffrey Park Master Plan, the first holistic plan for our park in our history. We're working to design a 4-season shelter house at Jeffrey to better serve our summer camp program and to provide event space and facilities for families and communities to celebrate and grow together. We're designing an overhaul to the pool parking lot to provide better access to and enjoyment of the Alum Creek waterfront and the Jeffrey Trail system. We're installing our Alley of the Future improvements in the inaugural alley block. It'll be between North Stanwood and Remington. And we're working on an exciting program to bring the best of Alley of the Future to alleys throughout Bexley. Ideas like designated and secure play spaces, stormwater treatment, better drainage, smart lighting, and more. We're picking up a lot of litter together. Feel free to join me on this Saturday, April 20th, our next Trash Talk. We're working to finalize and adopt our first sustainability action plan to bring together all these initiatives and efforts that we have been working on to date and to create a vision and a standard for the years to come. We're expanding our city's EV fleet. We're working to encourage the phase out of highly polluting 2-stroke landscape equipment and small engines, including the creation of a delightful program funded with the support of the Bexley Community Foundation, to lend electric lawn equipment to teenage entrepreneurs looking to provide lawn services to the community. We're expanding Bexley's EV charging infrastructure and bringing overnight charging to underserved residential areas. On January 1st, we rolled out universal recycling. It's a project many years in planning. It's brought recycling access to every commercial property, every apartment property, every place of worship, every school in Bexley at a cost much lower than what many businesses had available to them to secure in the past. We are the first in the state to do this, one of the first in the country. It's a program we're really proud of, and it took a lot of work, so thanks to the staff for making that happen, and to council for supporting it. This year is our first year to be fully supplied by wind-sourced energy throughout more than 80% of the households and businesses that have opted in Bexley. Since September 23rd through the end of February, our community has saved over $600,000 off of AEP's base rate. The average household has saved over $200 through February. It's a remarkable program even without the savings, bringing wind renewable energy to our doors. But with the savings, take your family out to Giuseppe's to celebrate. We're planting more trees, and we're encouraging the planting of private trees to accomplish our goal of 40% canopy coverage by 2029. Last year, I am pleased to announce that through our Year of the Parks program, we planted 146 new trees in our community and our green spaces. That deserves a round of applause. There we go. We're working with council to craft a green building code to provide for simple, common sense standards and set the stage for more sustainable development in our future. But none of this is possible without a community that is safe for all. Here to talk about the year ahead at the Bexley Police Department is Chief Gary Lewis.
There we go. That's good.
Well, Charles, could you, as you enjoy your lollipop, sir? Got it. Thank you, sir. So first and foremost, I want to thank my team that's here, Deputy Chief Goff, Lieutenant Kennefick, Officer Adams. I see Jeremy Grimes. Without their support from all the men and women at the Bexley Police Department, a lot of the things and initiatives that we have done would not have happened. The mayor told me that brevity was a key for me tonight, so he gave me about a minute and a half. So I want to make sure that before I say anything that I say this. The Jason and Ben show. Mike Price, you and I need to get a show on the road this spring and summer and make it the Mike and Gary. All right, got that out of the way. So one of the things that we talked about when I first took over the role was how do we create a strategic vision, a 3-year plan? And one of the very first things was creating a community liaison position. This position has been absolutely critical in connecting with our business communities, our schools, our churches, our synagogues. Just today, Channel 4 came out and did a story with us, highlighting our efforts in meeting with all places of worship and specifically talking to them about emergency management, about active threats, about active shooters. And so we're getting a lot of attention based on that. So an absolute great job for Officer Adams, as well as the Books and Badges initiatives that he's doing. So one of the other things that we talk about is the business checks and the value. We're having officers get out of their cruiser, engage the community, having that face-to-face interaction. What that does, every shift, all officers are engaged in this. They're physically required to get out of their cruisers and engage business owners, managers, and it has been an absolute phenomenal opportunity for us to see things very differently, provide them with safety tips, as well as just an overall assessment to their needs. This was our first town hall that we did. After October 7th, we saw that there was a critical need to really focus on our Jewish community. We partnered with the FBI, the Joint Tourism Task Force, the rabbis. We also partnered with Jewish Columbus and other partners to really focus on and share what are the efforts, the initiatives that we're doing. And we did that at all the synagogues. It became so popular from what we started in Bexley that other communities here in Central Ohio, to include Columbus Police, mirrored and copied that model, and then it's actually spread across the state. So that started here with a very deliberate, intentional act to make sure that our Jewish residents knew exactly what we were doing to help keep them safe. So part of that 3-year plan, and it aligns with that last slide, was how do we look at some best practices? And one of the vulnerable areas was that having 3 synagogues in a 2.5 square mile, seeing that we really didn't have a proactive initiative in managing and dealing with the potential if we had a bomb threat at one of our synagogues. So we had, this started last July, so you can imagine this October, the impact in having Pia and Officer Shaver showing up. He works Tuesday to Saturday, so that way sweeps are conducted on Friday, and he's also visible every Saturday, the day of worship. So we have continued to see great success with that, not just at our synagogues, but our schools and other places of worship. One of the other dynamics that we have partnered with the FBI JTTF, as well as the U.S. Marshals Task Force. That's U.S. Marshal Michael Black, who had just sworn in Officer Donovan, as well as Officer Johnson, just as recent as today. And this is really, what's the return on investment? And the return is, as residents who've been impacted by crime, and these individuals then bail, leave the state, the U.S. Marshals Task Force will pick them up anywhere in the country. And we've had a number of these where this task force has returned back to us, some individuals from Florida and California on outstanding charges from incidents that have happened right here in Bexley. This was from our National Night Out. Last year was the tremendous outpouring from this community in supporting National Night Out was just a really a testament to how supportive and hungry this community is for that type of engagement. So thanks for all who participated. We will continue this year. A few other images from last year. Yes, we had a helicopter. The Bexley High School softball team had extended an invitation for us to come out and speak about safety. And we're really trying to take community policing to another level in engaging people and meeting them where they are. 2 things. I want to end on this. One, that on your brochure, there is a copy of our annual report. You can use that QR code to download our annual report and to get that information. Secondly, I want to talk about, we're going to be doing some additional initiatives that include a Cops and Kid Day to focus on our youth, as well as the National Night Out, and continue that process. But I want to share with you in the 1.5 years that I've been in this position, we are more diverse today than we were yesterday. I want to say that again. We are more diverse today than we were yesterday. The young men and young women that we are hiring look, act, and feel like the community in which they represent. And that is a testament to just changing how we've done business, being very deliberate, and people answering the call to do this profession. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Lewis. Now is the time that I tell you that you have been unwittingly subjected to a presentation of Bexley's newly updated strategic plan. Everything we've covered tonight is harmonious and driven by our strategic plan. The rectangles are all the different slides I walked you through. It's a document that incorporates recent planning efforts, drives the calendar for additional plans in the years to come, and clearly communicates the visions and sets of objectives that we're looking to continue to advance in the years to come. So good job, you guys. Oh, there's more. You can find this all online at bexley.org. In the midst of all this, we have our most exciting event season ever. And P.S., this is about 30% of the graphics showing our season coming up through the summer. There's a lot more that doesn't fit well on the screen. Starting this weekend at our Earth and Arbor Festival. It's celebration, not festival. Earth and Arbor celebration. We're bringing back community events that we all know and love, including the COSI Science Fest, main events, Jazz is in the Park, the Smoke and Fire Festival, 4th of July. We're supporting Porch Fest and Into the Woods Fest. We're partnering with Brew Fest at our Labor Day block party on Main Street, the Harvest Fest, the Halloween Bash, the Christmas tree and menorah lightings. Our season sponsors are the Bexley Community Foundation, Raymond James Financial, and Ohio Heating and Cooling. But wait, there's more. New this year, the Bexley Mural Festival, coming to Main Street in August and September. We'll be bringing world-class artists to paint 3 or more canvases on the sides of host buildings on Main Street in an interactive, participatory festival with live music, food, art. It's going to be amazing. And yes, it's funded, thanks in part to the generous contributions of the Bexley Community Foundation. How do we do all this? In Bexley, our greatest asset, it isn't our trees, or those walkable sidewalks, or our parks, our balanced budget, or even our schools. Sacrilege. Our greatest asset is our people. It's the culture of collaboration that we built as leaders in the city, from city council to the auditor to our school board, our library leadership, our Chamber of Commerce, Bexley Community Foundation, Bexley Education Foundation, board and commission members, the leadership of our private educational institutions, places of worship, and all of our volunteer and civic organizations. And most importantly, it's the people who wake up every day and dedicate their professional lives to keeping our community safe, to plowing our streets, fixing our potholes, planting our trees, repairing water lines, expanding sewer capacity, ensuring the sustainability of our community for generations to come. They're keeping the trains running and the community sparkling. People like the 4 Bexley police officers that now live and work in Bexley, where their home is our home. Tonight, I want to introduce you to a few new faces on our leadership team. Meet Emily Buckley, our new Human Resources Coordinator, also a Bexley resident who's keeping us more organized and on track than ever. Say hello to our new Director of Administration and Development, Megan Meyer, who's holding a goat in this picture. She's helping more intentionally connect with our business community and drive new development for our future. And welcome to Carrie Martin, our new Finance Director, who's busy helping us recraft our finance function with stronger controls, more accessible financials, and lots of very entertaining personal anecdotes. And here I'm just covering new employees in our leadership team. Every day, employees throughout our departments give their all and provide exceptional service to our residents. Employees such as Brenton Austin in our service department, whose jovial smile and hard work ethic have caught the attention of many of our residents. Brenton's not alone. This room is filled with many other examples, and often the most quiet and humble servant is making the biggest difference. There's a lot to look forward to in 2024. Believe it or not, there's a lot to talk about that we haven't even touched the surface of. I'm so excited to be working alongside it with you. To keep apprised of what we're doing in a bite-sized dose of useful information, where you might find fun pictures like this, check out the Bexley Blast, our weekly email, and my 4 Things Friday, where I serve up some sometimes useful anecdotes. I'd like to introduce our next act. You may know them from the myriad of mentions they just received and the indescribably phenomenal work they do in our community. Every single day, here's a video update from the Bexley Community Foundation. Cue the video.
Hi, I'm Hallie Raskin, Executive Director of the Bexley Community Foundation. Thank you for having us this evening. I'm excited for you to learn more about the wonderful work we do in Bexley. What started in 2010 as a grassroots effort to give where you live has turned into one of the most impactful organizations in our hometown. Today, the Bexley Community Foundation has reinvested over $5 million in projects and programs benefiting all those who live, learn, work, play, and care in Bexley now and in the future. Projects such as the Jeffrey Mansion expansion, pickleball courts, and tennis courts, playgrounds at our elementary schools, the Schneider Park fields, our 4th of July and main events, the Bexley Farmers Market, the Drexel Theater, the North and South Community Gardens, trees and flowers throughout Bexley, and now, Year of the Parks. Join us. By supporting the work of our Bexley Community Foundation, you are joining a legacy of impact and empowerment, ensuring that Bexley remains a vibrant, innovative, and inclusive community for generations to come. Together, we can build a better Bexley, one project at a time. To learn more, apply for a grant, or donate to the Bexley Community Foundation, please visit bexleycommunityfoundation.org.
There you go. If you serve on the board of the Bexley Community Foundation, you can stand and be recognized. I see you there. And Amy Giller-Stark is the chair. I love how quickly she was stood up and down again. I also want to say, you know, we've been dealing with some fun tech this evening. I want to thank my assistant, Natalie Botter, who has been a fantastic support to me in every single way imaginable. We're able to advance our slides because of her last minute planning. Thank you, Natalie. So here to talk about what the library has in store for 2024, its 100th year of service, did I just give up the plot? Is this fine wearer of wool ribbon stockings, this perpetrator of historic reenactments, this tiki DJing, turntable steaming, lover of the Dewey Decimal System, propagator of the beige colored stacks, lender of board games, ukuleles, and fine arts, the one and only Benjamin B. Heckman.
Everybody, thanks for sticking around. Two things. I guess I need to thank my dad for naming me Ben. That's a thing. And then secondly, if you have come to this in the past, you know I've always started them off, so I'm not sure what I did to upset Jason or Ben to now be the last. But we'll try to keep it punching here. Okay, so let's jump over to, oh yeah, there it is. That's the good stuff. I want to thank everybody. I'd love to come and talk about our incredible library. We are a gem of this community, and as I learn every day, we are a gem of libraries across the country, which we'll get into a little bit here. So a new approach for tonight's thing here. Last year, we talked about the strategic plan. So a big thank you to everybody who contributed to the strategic plan, whether that was through a workshop or a survey. And so we just approved our strategic plan a few weeks ago. Like, we don't have that cool DNA-like stuff. We did it just at the library, but it's great. It's a great compliment. And so we're going to kind of highlight some of our strategic plan as we highlight what we worked on last year. So coming up first is our mission and vision. When I talked to all the staff about this, we had two things: trust and service. One thing we can control and one thing we can't. So our vision to be a trusted institution that builds community through connection. We can provide the connection, we can make things available to the community, but trust has to be given and earned. Our mission, to enlighten, inspire, and empower our community through extraordinary service. That we can control. We can provide extraordinary service. So we made that change, and we go into access. Now, these are our core values. Access, we hold the principles of intellectual freedom and the open exchange of ideas. We affirm the rights of patrons to free and equitable access to library resources, services, spaces, and programs. It's not just about books or the internet, but it's through important things like a seed library, so that you can plant your garden and then dry your seeds and return them. No one's done that yet. And if you go tomorrow, I think we're all out of seeds. So just go. It's great. It's great. We have a great thing with the seed library. We also make local legislators available so that you can ask questions about what's going on. So part of that leads us to connection. We believe creating meaningful and authentic connections with our patrons, community partners, and each other is vital. We're actively engaged in life of our community and embrace our role as a partner and ally. So bringing people together, like when Brian Drury called me and said, we think the weather's going to rain, and then it didn't, for Juneteenth, and we had probably 300, 400 people in the auditorium, which I'm grateful that we don't have a fire department in Bexley because we would have been in trouble. But we had a great event of, I shouldn't say that in front of the mayor. It was a record. It was great. We had a great time, and I think it was a proud moment for the entire East Side, not just Bexley. So with Juneteenth was great. Bringing other library professionals together, that's part of what we do. We're such a supported, loved library that we feel we should go and share what we have learned with other libraries and kind of set the trend for others. So there I am meeting Dr. Carla Hayden. She is the Librarian of Congress. That is like the head boss. And she's very small, but she was a delight. And she's the first public librarian to hold that position. There you go, fun fact. And then that leads us to empowerment. We provide a trusted space where people come to improve their quality of life. We believe connecting people to resources, services, experiences, and each other will lead to new opportunities for individuals and our community. So letting you ask questions of experts to better understand or make up your own mind about what's going on. Instead of having someone tell you what to think, read a book and figure out, or listen to an expert and make up your own mind on things is so important to us. So whether that's on the growth of Central Ohio or our now annual Supreme Court program, where we have an expert come and talk to you about all of the rulings from the Supreme Court that goes on in June. Innovation. We adapt to evolving technology and information landscapes, continuously improving library resources to remain relevant and valuable. We strive to be a leader in developing and delivering creative, bold, and high-quality information services and resources. So innovative ways to share programming like the BPL TV, which we're currently live on right now, streaming. That's right. Our partnership with Bexley Magazine to get out our information about what's going on at the library. Our partnership with the Bexley Historical Societies to celebrate our century homes. And of course, our innovative partnership with One Bexley, because we've yet to find a library who's working with their city and their schools so closely on a community-wide issue. A lot of great things to be proud of there. And then literacy. I love what we did with literacy. We foster literacy skills and provide trustworthy information. We are committed to literacy in its many forms: foundational reading, digital proficiency, information evaluation, media analysis, and cultural understanding. So last year we had our first literacy nights. Anybody participate in the literacy night? All right, it was totally dope. You guys missed out. We had the education PTOs for each of the schools come to the library. They did pizza. We had a fun scavenger hunt. We had 350 people come from Montrose. We had 400 people come from Maryland. And we had 450 people come from Cassingham. Now, for those of you keeping track, I guess Cassingham won. But we had a great time, and everybody got to learn about all the great things we have at the library. Number 8, service. We value compassionate, trustworthy, and knowledgeable service, aiming to meet the diverse needs of all patrons while maintaining a welcoming and supporting environment. Service first above all else. That hangs in my office. That's the foundation of everything that we do at the library, whether it's a notary appointment, whether it's home delivery, or whether it's outreach. It is at the heart of all that we do. And the staff takes that very seriously. Stewardship. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you guys better be good with cash. And so we protect and steward our community's resources, collections, spaces, and privacy with honesty and integrity. We promote transparency, equity, and openness in all we do. So it's not just about taking care of taxpayer dollars. It's about being cautious and smart with resources. So we just when we go and buy things, we try to make sure that they're quality and they're going to last a long time. We try to think about those things. And let's also not forget, we're also stewarding the human record. Libraries are the place where we store the human record So like our Bexley Digital Archive, this is all that we do. And so this is my next page. Now we're going to get into some fun accomplishments of 2023. You guys ready? The strategic plan we just went through, right? Pretty good? Yeah, okay, all right, that's fine. I know, I'm the last one. Oh, that's fine. We rocked out the seed library, the Bexley Century Home Initiative. We participated in the Heart Safe Bexley. We have AEDs for all the libraries, for all floors of the library. We had a great training. The last time I saw some of these officers, they were shooting blanks in the library. So I know about all that. So we had our active shooter training that was very good. It was very empowering of our staff. I thought it was going to be very nerve-wracking, and staff felt very empowered. We're going to make some great safety changes as well. So thank you, Chief, for that. So we participated in the Heart Safe Bexley. Our AEDs will be up soon. And then I know when I come to this, you guys love like nerdy behind the curtain things that I share. So if you've ever tried to take a phone call in our basement, it wouldn't work very well. So we added a cell phone booster. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's great. Clap it up. So now you can take the phone call down in the youth services area. You're welcome. That's our new tech guy. He's great. Okay, we're going to hit some of the numbers. Another great slide. We had over 150,000 people come and visit the library last year. That was over 500,000 electronic and physical checkouts, over 74,000 Wi-Fi and computer sessions, 320 personalized picks where you can fill out a form online, tell the librarians what you like, and instead of Amazon recommending a book, a real human that lives in your community will tell you what you should read next. Give it a look. We hosted 6,642 people in 1,500 meeting room reservations. People from all over, 600 youth programs, that's just under 14,000 attendees, 251 adult programs with just over 11,000 attendees, and 160 book librarian questions. So if you just got an e-reader and your son is a software engineer that lives in California, who personally thanked us for helping his father get, that happened to me the other day. I helped a guy with an e-reader. So you can book a librarian and ask any questions you want, and we'll work with you one-on-one. PLA 2024, this is very exciting stuff. Last week, 2 weeks ago, 7,500 librarians descended upon Columbus, Ohio. Did you even notice? I'm sure that if you went to the bars down by the convention center, you did. The Public Library Association had its public library conference here in Columbus for the first time, and we had a great conference where we explored new trends in libraries. We went to different sessions. We sent a large portion of our staff, but perhaps our greatest honor was we were on the tour list, and we hosted 56 librarians from around the country and the world to tour our library. So here is a picture here of people learning about the magic that is Bexley Public Library. We specialized it so that they could take back with them whatever they wanted. So they could meet with our frontline staff and ask questions. One of them was, are you guys really all this happy here? Wait, they let you do stuff? Can you just close when you want? Libraries in every other state are very, very different. And we got so much positive feedback, and we are working with people to help change some of the way that their libraries run so that their staff can feel more engaged and empowered. So that was a great honor for us to participate in. All right, and now, are you ready for the upcoming events? Yeah, upcoming events. The outdoor reading room, we're going to break ground really late in the fall or beginning of spring 2025. We didn't want to interrupt other big things that we have going on in the library this year. We're working on a new thing. Does anybody here use Libby, the digital online reading app? Yeah, okay. We're going to create a Bexley section that should pop up on your Libby app that should have our program guide, our Centennial Guide, other publications from the city that you can check out and read through your Libby app. So that's pretty cool. We are also now circulating, just brand new, driving cones. Yeah, okay. Somebody's clapping for driving cones. Great. So you can check out the cones and the sticks and teach your young folks how to parallel park safely in a parking lot, hopefully at the school or something, their parking lot. Pool parking lot, great place. So you can now check out those cones from the library. Our other big project that we're working on is the BPL Civic Center. This was a vision that came to me late one night. It's a mobile voter registration place. It's going to be up 365 days in the library. You can leave notes for your legislators. You can get unbiased information about what's going on. And this is hopefully something that we're going to have up and running as soon as I find a props person. So if anybody knows a good props person, let me know. We're going to have this up for our election in November. And now, just to tease something. Does everybody know something's going on this year? Yeah, we did a little work at the library before a big thing that we've got going on. So we really shined her up, okay? That's what we try to do, is shine her up. So we got new parking lot signs. I'm so confident that one-way sign is going to help people go the right way in the library parking lot. I'm confident it will not. It will not. But we made the lane wider, so it should be fine. Last year, we put new carpet down in the back lobby in the browsing room. We got new tables, chairs, plants, and lamps. We saw that we had an uptick of people coming to use the library after school to study and have meetings. So we're creating more space for that to go on. The decline in CDs, we shrunk our CDs down so we could create more space. So that is what our browsing room looks like now. It is so much more inviting to go in there and sit and read the paper or do work. So I encourage you to take a look at that. We laid out the first floor differently. We got new tables in the quiet reading room, which is more flexible. And then the thing that kills me, if you can see these pictures, I should apologize to everyone. In my 6 years of running the library, I never thought to have her power washed. But if you look here, I mean, that just looks like a different building entirely. So she's looking really good. We got her power washed. Very proud of that. And now for the big news, in case you didn't know, we're turning 100 this year. Yeah. The staff and I have been working for many, many months to get ready for our big kickoff. We have like 6 months planned of the year of great events, author talks, parties, a whole bunch of stuff to bring a whole bunch of celebratory fun to this. And I just want to say to the staff has worked so hard, we've worked so hard to get all this together. So if you don't have your Centennial Guide, come and take. I brought some. You can get it digitally. So we've got a lot of great stuff going on. First off, the kickoff party is next Thursday, the 25th of April. We are going to have some cake, so that's the most important part. We also we have a very important librarian that we'd never had the opportunity to meet, who ran the library from 1954 to 1971. She started working there in 31. She's incredible. She was a visionary of what libraries should be. And we have looked up to her since we started doing all the new things at the library. So to honor Mary T. Zimmerman, we're going to dedicate the browsing room in her honor. And it just so happens that her 97-year-old husband is still alive. He is going to be our guest of honor that night to celebrate this wonderful person who laid the foundation for all of the things that we do. And I think that's just a magical thing that can only happen here in Bexley. The guy's living in Berwick and calls us one day because he wants to sell some books. I can tell you all about this later. He also has some furniture that was in the building in 1929 when it opened, and I think we're getting that back, which is also cool, but that's another story. So I want you to come to our birthday celebration. We're dedicating the room, and then I am going to interview an author who's going to talk about the great books and why they're still important for kids to learn about the great ideas. If you want to see someone who's never interviewed like a real important author and is probably going to crash and burn, come and check it out. It'll be good. I'll at least try to make it fun. Our music series is coming up. We just had our Rhapsody in Blue. We had 130 people in the auditorium. It was truly an amazing piece of music. It was really great. I said Ricky Skaggs the other day. It's Earl Scruggs. We're celebrating Earl Scruggs' 100th birthday. And then in August, my good friend Todd Stoll's coming. It's going to be all 20s music. We got a lot of surprises planned for that one, so I want you to come and check that out. And then the car show. This is actually in the month of our birthday. It's going to be September. We're going to have a cake and sparklers. Somebody's going to be DJing all the top hits from every decade we've been open. That's great, isn't it? Yeah, I know. You're going to love it. Just come early for the 20s and 30s because it's some of the best. So we'll have classic cars from the era there. It'll be outside. The weather's going to be great. The weather's going to be great. So come and check that out. And like I said, there's the QR code to get the guide. The guide I put on the back table if you want that information. We would love to really see you all come out. What do we got next year? Oh, and then we worked so hard for all of our author events. So we've got a number of author events coming up. Maggie Smith, me interviewing again, Hanifa Durakib, Linda is coming with Pat Lazinski, who's the CML library director. I'm going to razz him when I introduce him. And then we're celebrating James Baldwin's 100th birthday. So this is happening all throughout the next 6 months. This is really great. We got a great mix of local authors, nationally known authors. We've worked really hard on this, so please join us for that. And then, how are we celebrating outside of the library and in the community? These banners looked so cool on the side of our building. I never imagined that we would get it to look this good. If you haven't seen them, check that out. Come into the library, see what we've been working on. We've got some great banners on the light posts throughout the community, so we're grateful for our partners with the city on that. And then, let me tell you what we've lined up for you in the community. You can go to Johnson's in the summer and get the Bexley Library Sundae, which they're calling the bookworm. It is cookies and cream ice cream with alphabet letters on top and then a gummy worm. I mean, come on, that's great. Seventh Son is making us a beer. We're getting all the basics covered, everybody. Come on now, come with me here. Ice cream, beer. Bexley Pizza Plus is working on a specialty pizza for us. If you go to our website and order some of the books from Gramercy is going to donate some of that money back to the library. And then at Giuseppe's, they're working on a cocktail called the Book Drop. So, all right, we got pizza, ice cream, beer. Yeah, that'll get applause. We're just so happy we can celebrate with our community partners, and they've been great to do that. So that should all be fun. Inside the building, because I know Larry Hellman's back there going, this is great, Ben, but where's the swag? The sweet, sweet library swag. So in-house design T-shirts by our staff. We're working on a portal for people to buy library T-shirts, library tote bags that we're gonna have up all the time so you can get our fresh designs. That'll be coming soon. We have gold library cards that you'll be able to get. Very fun and sparkly. Yeah, that's right. Brian's excited. Gold library cards. We're also asking you to share your story about the library. You can email it, text it, record it, mail it, and we're collecting all of that on our website. If you go to our website, we've already got some people sharing their stories about the library. We are going to have buttons and bookmarks and drink koozies. We've got little branded library card holders for the back of your phone. Bracelets. It's all going to be a great time this summer. And we've also worked very hard on some great history displays. So if you can see Mark Fischel here taking the photo op and shushing us, we've set up an old desk of what it would have looked like for a librarian probably about 80 years ago. We've got a history display with a lot of great library artifacts and from the stuff. And then as you can see over here, the Village Library, we've worked very hard to capture the history of Bexley and Bexley Library and put it into 10 panels that will be interactive. When I say interactive, you can walk around them, but they're 8 feet, and you can walk around them. We can set them up, and it'll be great. So we want to share that with you. And so this is all a very fun, it's been fun for us to put together. It's been a lot of work. And it's important for us that we kind of capture the incredible work that libraries do, not just our library, but all the libraries. And because every day we have people that come into the library and have an experience that can change their life or help them get along in their journey. And so I have a video that I want to share that is just example of what I said. Do I?
Hi everyone, I'm Arnold Stein. I grew up in Bexley. I spent a lot of time at Bexley Public Library. When I was a kid, I read only comic books. I was a comic book freak. One day, my mom dropped me off at the library, and the librarian was waiting for me. And she said, "Bobby, I know you like comic books. I bet I have something else you would like." And she took me to a shelf of great February stories. And that changed my life. Great Bradbury, and that one really took me to a meeting. I just want to say happy 100th birthday.
Very dedicated public servant and our auditor for many years. The reason I wanted to mention Bill is that he was always the epitome of what respectful civil discourse should look like, what it needs to look like. I liked to tell Bill when I disagreed with him, and Bill loved to tell me when he disagreed with me. But having had that discussion with him, whatever the outcome was, he always made it better, and he always approached it in the most professional of ways. And finally, before I hand it over, you've heard so many wonderful updates tonight, so many wonderful pieces of our community that you could get involved in. I'm going to put on my law school professor hat for just a second and kind of give you a call to action. If there was one or two things that you heard tonight that you'd love to learn more about, or that you are willing to personally get involved in, contribute your ideas, I really urge you to do so. That input, that collective insight, that togetherness will help bring Bexley even closer together. As your city council president, I'm glad to tell you that the future of Bexley has never looked brighter. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the president of the Bexley Board of Education, Victoria Powers.
Thanks, Monique. It's great to be here this evening. I love this 1908 up here. It's a motto that I love to see when I log on. Founded in 1908, updated daily. This evening we've heard about so many successes, important initiatives, future hopes for our city and its institutions, all of the ways in which we are building, updating, and improving daily what is at the heart of our city. We've heard about many ways that Bexley is working together to be a lighthouse district and community, where in our schools we help our students to learn with curiosity, demonstrate kindness, and embrace equity, where we imagine and then implement new ways to do more for our students and our citizens. I'm grateful for all of the ongoing work, and as Ben pointed out, Ben Kessler, I'm grateful for all of you. You are at the heart of Bexley. You are making our community a better place. I appreciate Monique's call to action. This is a room full of people that are really engaged, and it makes all the difference in the world. Thank you for being here this evening, working together every day. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Great.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you were like, taking it and framing it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
Good job, Ben. How you doing, Brian?
Yeah, thank you.